Hello everyone, and welcome to another Top 5 Records video. And in this video I'm taking a closer look at the sound quality of The Man Who Fell to Earth, and I'm trying to figure out what might be the best pressing. I just did a video on the album itself for the full discography series, and now I'm taking a closer look at the different sorts of pressings. Now, what I have here is an old US bootleg, which is mainly there for the cover and collecting value. Also, going online reading about the American press, it is nowhere near. If you have an official one, it's nowhere near the so-called second British pressing. I've been reading a lot of good comments online with regards to this one, the RCA Orange label pressing, specifically with the stampers ending on 1E. And that's also where I based my review of the album on. Now, I find very little comments on how this compares to the release from a year before with Bowie in the dress. Some people say they were. Well, I read one comment about from someone saying he's not impressed, but one comment has no journalistic value to me. So I really don't know. But this is a very good source to compare to because the one with the dress, it's a collector's item mainly for the cover. Can't say much about the quality apart from the one comment I read online. This is the one which is easily available and has a great sound, very good texture, beautiful bass. Yet, Tony Visconti in 2020 thought the time was right to give the album another mix. And that's what I have here. And this new mix is called Metrobolist. And Metrobolist was the original title, and they changed it just before the release into The Man Who Sold the World, without Bowie agreeing to it. So what did Tony Visconti do with Metrobolist? Which also, by the way, I'm having difficulty pronouncing it because I constantly think of Metropolis, but it's a pun to Metropolis, the 1927 Fritz Lang silent film, awesome film. Now, I used this one for the video to as a review, to base my album review on, because that's closest to what Bowie knowingly intended. Yet I think I prefer this one. And usually I'm not that much interested in a new mix. But what Visconti does here is he really cleans up the tracks. The progressive rock element of this album, with all the interesting sounds everywhere, you can hear them here very clear. To a certain extent, this sounds like an audiophile remaster of the original album. To a certain extent, because obviously he has done some things. For example, he added reverb to Bowie's voice, which I think works here a bit better than on the Space Oddity album. And although I'm not a fan of adding extra reverb, I think because all the instruments now have such a clear, distinct sound, I think the adding of the reverb is there for balance effect, just so it balances out, so you have a clear stereo image, which on these songs really work well. I hear so much more of the instruments, which are, I believe, intended in the original mix, but there have been some pressing choices made. I think it also has to do with equalizing, taking as little risk as possible in the pressing of the album. Although this has an incredible, beautiful bass. Yeah, the bass here is also there. It's a bit brighter, has a little bit more detail. Everything has a bit more detail, and it makes the album so much more the epic that it originally is. Now, my advice, yeah, I wouldn't want to miss any of them, because this is so close to the original, and it's such a great sounding pressing. This is an epic audiophile new mix done by the original producer, who does have soul for it. And the interesting thing about this one also is Visconti did not touch one of these. The song After All, because he said, nah, it was great the way it was. And indeed, it sounds here a bit brighter than on the pressing I'm having here. Comparing After All on this pressing and on this pressing, there's a bit more information here. This is a bit more punch. But the song, because it's untouched within the concept of this album, doesn't do it the same way the other songs do. For me. Although, and I love After All. So, clearly he did something right on all the other tracks. Clearly he did something interesting. So, my question to you is, what do you guys think? Do you agree? Do you disagree? My advice is, if you come across the 1972 pressing on the orange RCA with the matrix tempers ending on 1E, go ahead, buy it. It's a beautiful pressing. If you can find this one, come across it in the store. This is not one of those remasters or remixes for sheer pleasure or for sheer commercial value. It really does something. This is a great addition to your Bowie collection. So, I wonder what you guys think, and I see you in my next video. And if you want to know about my opinion, if you want to know what my opinion on the record itself is, go ahead. Here, I've got a link under here, and then you can follow my full discography of Bowie. See ya.